Yo, what up, Street Dogs? Eric Kim. So, the thought. This thought is regarding the ideal aesthetics. So, what does it mean to have ideal aesthetics and why should we care? So, my general basic gist is aesthetics are the same thing as ethics. So, aesthetics, the philosophy of aesthetics, like a notion of feeling, and essentially what you consider beautiful or good or great and whatever, and what's worthwhile. So this is why it's important for us as photographers, visual artists, individuals, thinkers, stuff like that, to think about aesthetics, especially us as being, thinkers and philosophers and stuff like that. So essentially, I can't speak for you, but let me try to speak for myself. So the general gist is like, these are my ideals and you have to craft your ideals for yourself, and also just realize all your aesthetics are in flux. So my personal aesthetics are kind of this combination of, Japanese Zen, Uji, wabi-sabi vibes, American individualism, capitalism, consumerism, all that fun stuff. And probably the simplicity, the hardness, and the directness of German Bauhaus. Now, this is my personal trifecta. So, American, German, and Japanese are honestly my favorites. And the reason is, it's like, you think about all the German notions of simplicity, going back to Dieter Rams, less but better. And the fact of the matter is Steve Jobs and Jony Ive were both huge fanboys of the German Bauhaus aesthetic. Just look at the early Braun products. Just Google like Dieter Rams, Jony Ive or Apple products, and you'll see a lot of the similarities. And I think I like this notion where, our devices, our tools and stuff like that, it's well built, well crafted, will last you a lifetime. And it's also simple, yet austere, beautiful. Because I like this notion of like austere beauty or like effortless elegance. And I tend to go more towards the simplicity, minimalism vibes. But the problem, if you're just too German in terms of the aesthetic or the culture, it's a little bit cold. And so the best way to fight that is kind of more of the, green aesthetics of Japan. The whole notion of, wabi-sabi. They love natural materials and stuff like that. And so as a consequence, being surrounded by nature, even like one of my favorite movies, the Ex Machina, I think you'll watch on Netflix now. The guy who's essentially the pseudo founder of Google, he's like living in this like Zen forest, right? And I think even Larry Ellison spent like $100 million building this like Japanese Zen Kyoto vibes house somewhere in California. I don't know. But anyways, and the nice thing about Japanese Zen wabi-sabi, Zen Taoist vibes is we love the patina, we love the wear and tear, and it becomes beautiful. Similarly speaking, like, it's crazy. I'm only 32, but I'm already starting to see all the facial wrinkles and stuff like that. But rather than just feeling that it's ugly, I always thought the wrinkles were much more beautiful, especially in older folks. And typically young people are kind of boring to photograph because there's no wear and tear in their faces. And I like faces with more texture. And I think also, photographically speaking, more texture is more interesting. And having some sort of texture and friction is good. Like, imagine trying to have sex with zero friction, right? It's the friction which makes things enjoyable. And so that's that. And also, there's a reason why Steve Jobs loved Japan and Kyoto and stuff like that. He essentially took all the best things about Japanese Zen minimalism and infused it into the Apple products. And I think that the best culture is not just one pure culture. I really believe in a hybrid, a mixed culture. And even though I'm like a huge fan of Elon Musk, Tesla, electric cars and stuff like that, it's funny because like I'm in Rhode Island right now, and I was just like trolling Craigslist for a car, and And I had the thought, I'm like, oh, it's so cool, get a Tesla, da, 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 get used Tesla on Craigslist or whatever. But I Googled Google Maps superchargers in Rhode Island, and they're like, there's only like two, and they're like super far away, very inconvenient. So essentially, the moral of the story is, if you live in California, you have a Tesla, it's awesome, but kind of everywhere else in America, not so convenient. So assuming that I want to just maximize convenience, still, unfortunately or fortunately, having a hybrid vehicle is the most efficient. You know, even though you have a supercharger, it'll still take you some time to recharge your car. As long as gas pump machines are faster to refill, so like you could fill a full tank on gas in like what, a minute, versus Tesla, I don't really know how long. As long as having a gas vehicle is more convenient, and also the upside of having a hybrid vehicle is that you don't have to refill as frequently. So as long as that's the case, at least on the East Coast, having a gas car or a hybrid car is actually much more efficient. But anyways, so yeah, being able to cross-pollinate behind all these different cultures, aesthetics. And the moral of the story is, discover what aesthetics are best for you. These are just my Eric Kim aesthetics, but you got to find out what's best for you. Getting all the gains. Shout out to Stop and Shop. Right? Eat more meat, get more gains.